Hello! Hello, my class. Alright, so what we're going to be talking about is how to annotate. Every once in a while, I plan on us getting some kind of piece of a story or an article or something like that, and we will annotate it, meaning that we will write all over it and draw stuff and maybe doodle. But let's go ahead and get into what that is, how we do it, so that you can do it better in class. So, first and foremost, I'm gonna be annotating this as an example. It's called Endless Forms, Charles Darwin, Natural Science and the Visual Arts. It's like how Charles Darwin affected the art world. And we're gonna talk about how annotating can apply to this. Because I'm gonna draw on this. I'm literally going to write onto this book. Now, first things foremost, we are going to be pre-read. That's a fancy way of saying we're gonna skim through. We're going to read quickly and just kind of see if there's any words we don't recognize or get a gist of what we're getting into, okay? All right then, so hold please. Alright, so I have pre-read this just now. Now, my purpose right here, why I'm reading it, is to learn stuff. I want to learn about how art was affected by Charles Darwin and biology and all that kind of stuff. So my purpose is, in this case, it may be different sometimes for you, but my purpose right now is to understand. And to learn. So we have a few things here. Highlight important parts. Let's go ahead and highlight important parts and question what we don't understand. So just through pre-reading this, what I'm getting is that this section is about fighting animals. That evolution is about, there we go, only the fittest would survive. I'm going to underline that right there. Only the fittest would survive. Now, when I'm highlighting and underlining important parts, when I say important, I mean things that I would tell others about or what I would remember. So This is an important part. If I was telling someone else about how Darwin affected art, then I would say this. That there was a continual struggle for nature. So, Thomas Malthus's essay on the principle of evolution, it does talk about that a bit. But I don't necessarily understand its description. So, I'm going to put a question mark because it says what this is, but I don't understand it, so I'm going to put a question mark right there because I don't understand this part. I think I use some more explanation, and if I don't understand, I will need to look it up later and write right here what that's about. And there's natural selection right there. That's a keyword. That's a vocab word. You got circle vocab words. Circle the part that kind of, that are vocab words, that are big words. Any individual plant. And I see some other things I could underline. Only survivors would produce offspring. So evolution is all about the fittest would survive, and only animals that survive have babies. So I'm only underlining these two parts out of these entire two paragraphs because those are the important parts about what evolution is. And then this part. So I can see that this part is giving examples of how evolution works. So something that's important to do is summarize. Like, I'm going to put right here examples. And yes, I'm writing on this tiny book. You're allowed to write on books. So let me see. These are the examples. Like, there we go. This right here, this paragraph, are examples of how evolution works. And it says like here, in animals, they have to fight with their own kind sometimes. So, and go right over here, wolves, because wolves do that a lot. So, and there we go. The wolves are predators, and they're constantly fighting over stuff. And they have to compete with their own kind for food. So that's wolves again. And extremes of cold or bleak terrain. So like tundra or like desert. There we go. So like right there. Those are examples of bleak terrain. And right here, I got an arrow. What you have additional thoughts on or memories or ideas. So use an arrow. Just, you can write in the margins, use an arrow to point to what you're talking about. So many of these ideas, battles between animals had been a common theme in art since the ancient world. So that to me seems pretty important. So since the ancient world. So in other words, we've always had art about animals battling each other, and that's what evolution is, animals battling each other. So, but in the 19th century, they came to symbolize the cutthroat competition in human society, as well as tragedies arising from the hostility of nature. Camouflage, speed, and the constant battle of wits. So, once again, here we have some examples of stuff that people would make art about. Camouflage, speed, and the battle of wits. So I'm writing those are examples. And right, so this entire section here is just people that made art about evolution, about animals fighting each other. Who made animal fighting art. Animal fight art. Oh my gosh. Make yours readable. Mine is not that readable, but... So, I'm getting it all annotated right here. I've never heard of Landseer, but that is... So I'm going to put a question mark, because I've never heard of him, and that's someone I want to look up. I've never heard of these people right here. So I'm gonna put a little question mark, because I don't know about those people, but I would like to look them up, and I would like to know more about that. So, and let's go ahead. Are there any points that I disagree with or agree with? Because we want to show what we agree with and show what we don't agree with. The hostility of nature and images of fierce birds. But I find all of this. But the cutthroat competition in human society. So there's nothing I especially agree or disagree with. I have no strong feelings. But what I can say is my own thought. It's just that I hope society is no longer cutthroat. Is not. I hope it's not cutthroat now, but I know that in some places it is. And so we've got some very good annotation going. So yeah, this is just a basic annotation. We could get really in-depth into it, but already we have parts summarized. And yeah. And these artists, one more thing to underline. In particular, tried to express complex interactions of living things, artists that wanted to show how life dealt with other life. All right. So we got some basic annotation down. Very good. And last but not least, let's provide a summary. Artists made a lot of art about animals surviving and fighting after his idea of evolution came out, such as this one right here, because that's what evolution is how animals fight and try to survive. And that is annotating and paying attention to the reading. And this is what I want you to do whenever I ask you to annotate a work, okay? All right then.